Hey, Sunday school, Sunday school, Sunday school, Sunday school, Sunday school is marching on. OSUNDAYSCHOOL. Sunday school is marching on. Hey there, how you doing? Welcome back. As I told you before, I will be back on today, Friday, January 29th, 2016, to continue our study on the lesson for this coming Sunday, the last Sunday in the month of January, January 31st, 2016. Can you believe that we are almost finished with 1 month in this new year of 2016? God has been so good to us, and that we are nearing the end of 1 month in this new year. Blessed be to God for his goodness and his kindness toward us, the children of men. And as we have already started, we're going to go into this lesson. This is a good lesson. I really have enjoyed studying this lesson. I hope that you have had a chance to go in and study prior to today from where we left off on Wednesday in regards to this lesson, coming from the book of John, the 11th chapter. And if you've read up to the verses, the highlighted verses for this lesson, starting at 38th verse, you are ready for where we're getting ready to go on today. If I could take a subtopic for today as we study, it would simply be, I have already told you. I have already told you would be my subtopic for today. And the reason why I want to give you that as a subtopic is because we're going to look at Martha in our lesson on today. And if you've read up to the 38th verse prior to today, you may already know where I'm going with this. But if not, I want to try to help you and give you some insight. You're going to be ready for your Sunday school class come Sunday. You're going to be a benefit to your Sunday school class on Sunday. I promise you that. As sure as I am sitting here right now, you're going to be a blessing to someone in your Sunday school class. But just take that for a thought. I've already told you. I recall when I was younger, and even now as an adult, being a parent, I recall my mom and dad giving us instructions and telling us to do something and laying the instructions out for us plainly and clearly for us to complete a task that they've given us. And in the midst of us completing the task, be it myself or my sisters, in the midst of us completing the task, we would come back and we would ask them a question in regards to what they assigned us to do. And I could hear very plainly, as if my mom and my dad was sitting right here in this room with me right now saying, I already told you what to do. I already told you what the outcome is going to be. And I can recall even now as a parent having two children myself that I would give them something to do, or I would give them an answer to a question, and they would come back to me and I would tell them, I've already told you. I've already given you the answer. I've already told you how it's going to work out. So with that in mind, let's look at Martha on today. And I'm going to back you up once again. We're going to back up because there's so much more to this lesson than the highlighted scriptures that they've given us. I'm going to back you up once again. And today from John 11, we're going to start at the 23rd verse. Now in the 23rd verse, it says, Jesus said unto her, talking to Martha, thy brother shall rise again. Martha's response is, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. So Jesus has to let her know who he is, because she obviously is not clear as to who she's talking to. So Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. And then he asked her, do you believe this? Now, listen to what Martha's response is. She said, yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Christ, the Son of the God, which shall come into the world. There's not a clear understanding, or there's not a surety in her answer there. She said, which should come into the world, not even realizing that she's standing right there with the resurrection. She's standing right there with the Son of God who is already come into the world. He's there. He's already with her. And when she had said this, she went her way. After she gave her response, she left and called her sister Mary, secretly saying, the master is come and calleth for thee. Now, she didn't even realize what Jesus was saying to her and let her know, I'm right here with you. Okay, so now let's get into the 38th verse. Let's go to the 38th verse. And when you look in this lesson, you'll see that that Jesus has already set the scene. So Jesus, therefore, again, groaning in himself, coming to the grave, it was a cave and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, take away the stone. Now, here's Martha. Here she comes again. The sister, Martha, the sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he have been dead 4 days. Now, don't you know that Jesus already knew Lazarus was dead? And don't you know that Jesus already knew Lazarus was dead 4 days? As a matter of fact, this was part of Jesus' plan for Lazarus to be dead. Because if he had left when they first told him, he would have gotten there before Lazarus died. But Jesus took his time with the intention that he wanted Lazarus to be dead by the time he got there. This is a setup. Let me help you out with something right now. And I said this on Wednesday, and I'm going to say it again today. Sometimes when you are going through and you think that God doesn't understand or he's not aware of what happened, you have been set up for God to manifest himself for you. God is not ignorant to what you're going through. It doesn't catch him by surprise. This doesn't just sneak up on him. He already knows. He's aware of it. The thing is, are you aware? Are you open to receive what God is going to do for you? So Jesus is standing there and Martha says, Lord, by now he stinks. He's been dead 4 days. Like that really mattered. Like if he stink, he can't come alive. Like if he stink, Jesus can't work a miracle because he stinks. It has nothing to do with nothing. But here anyway, she says, he's been dead 4 days. So Jesus said to her, said I not unto thee, and I already tell you that if thou wouldst believe, thou shouldst see the glory of God. If you would believe, you will see the glory of God. Didn't I tell you this already? Hadn't we already had this discussion? Isn't it irritating sometimes when you've had a conversation with a person, you have to go back and have that conversation over and over again because they are hard of understanding? My dad used to tell me, there's a difference between hearing me and listening to me. And for a while, I didn't get that. I didn't understand what he was saying. But later, as I got older, I understand what he's saying. There is a difference between hearing and listening. Just because you heard somebody does not necessarily mean that you were listening to somebody. Because in listening, there's a comprehension that takes place. If you listen, you'll comprehend. If you hear, it's just a sound. But when you listen, you're listening to get an understanding because you're trying to comprehend what is being said. So Jesus said unto her, he said I not unto thee that if thou would believe, thou shouldst see the glory of God? I already told you this. And then they took the stone away, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and he said this. Now listen to what Jesus says as you read this in verse 41. Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. He's setting something up here. 42nd verse, he says, and I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it. Because of disciples who were saying, if he sleep, he's doing well. And Jesus had to tell them plainly, Lazarus is dead. Okay, let's just get to the end of this and let me let you know Lazarus is dead. And then the other person that was standing by was Martha, who said, I know he's going to rise again at the end when you shall come, but not realizing that he was already here. So Jesus says, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And when he finished all that, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. Now, there's something there you need to catch. Because Lazarus is not the only Lazarus that's in that grave. There are other people by the name of Lazarus. And because he cried with a loud voice, if Jesus had not called Lazarus in the way that he did, every Lazarus that was dead would have risen. But Jesus called to this particular Lazarus. What I want you to understand is when Jesus calls you and speaks into your situation, it has nothing to do with who else may hear it. It's only for you. He's only speaking to your situation. And in this instance, he's only speaking to this Lazarus. Therefore, only this Lazarus got up and came forth. bound hand and foot with his grave clothes on. You may be bound, you may be stricken, you may be down, but when God calls you, when he speaks into your situation, it doesn't matter what has you tied up, you're still going to be able to answer and come to the voice that's calling you. Take that today and understand that this is not a dead situation. What you're dealing with is not unto death. It's only a setup for God to resurrect you in the midst of what you're going through. And when he does it, just like Lazarus, he does it in the midst of those people who doubted that you could come out of what you're going through. People have counted you out. They have already written you off and said that there's no comeback from this. This person is not going to be able to make it out of this. This person is not going to be able to withstand all of this they've gone through. While they are counting you out, Jesus will call you out of your situation. Bound, wrapped up, tied up, everything covering you and looking like you was count for dead and counted out. He calls you in the middle of your situation to show everybody that I'm still God. Didn't I already tell you? He told Martha, didn't I already tell you? Why are you doubting? If God has already told you, what are you doubting for? All you need to do is believe that he's already told you. And just like my mom and dad used to tell my sisters and I, didn't I already tell you? It was like we could count on what they said was going to happen. We could take it to the bank. I want you today to get yourself ready for your Sunday school lesson. But while you're getting ready for your Sunday school class and you're getting your Sunday school lesson, you're studying it, what I want you to do is take that revelation and put it down in your heart and think on that thing for a while and understand that there's three things actually that you need to take in consideration. One, he's already told you. Two, you've been set up for where you are to come out. And three, when he speaks, he's only going to speak to your situation and nobody else's. He doesn't have you confused with anybody else around you. You're going to come out of this. And you're going to come out of this with all of those bandages of grave clothes, but you're going to come out and prove that you're yet alive, because God is a God of deliverance. He is the resurrection and the life. God bless you. I hope you enjoy your Sunday school on Sunday. Go to your class. Talk to your classmates, share your understanding, and be a blessing to your Sunday school class. Once again, I'll say it and I'm going to keep on saying it. If you don't know your Bible, you need Sunday school. And if you know your Bible, the Sunday school needs you. God bless you and look forward to seeing you later.